Zoom zoom in an SUV. Now that used to be Mazda's big tagline, and I really can't blame them because their cars are sporty and I really like them. This is a 2020 Mazda CX-5, and zoom zoom is quite the tagline for it because, man, this thing gets up and goes with no problem, though I kind of wish it had a turbo. And it takes corners like the best of them. Now it has a little bit of a squishy brake problem, and I'm honestly gonna go check that out with another car after I take this back to the dealer, just to make sure it wasn't just this model. Now this has everything you'd expect in a model like this, like adaptive cruise control and Bose sound system. It does have a heads-up display, which I thought was pretty neat. It also has a digital gauge cluster, which really just tells you how far you are away from the person in front of you. What I'm wondering is, will it fit the fam? I'm Mr. Bram. These are my 3 kids. Join us as we journey to find the best SUV to fit the fam. Today's vehicle was provided by Avondale Mazda. They have all the latest models and a huge selection of used cars, SUVs, and vans. Check them out at avondalemazda.com and mention you heard about them on Fit the Fam for the best deal. So with the CX-5, what you end up running into is it's a compact SUV, and so the door openings are not quite as large as I was hoping for. So as you can see, the infant seat you have to turn in order to make it go past the door frame, which to me just seems kind of odd, even though, as I said, this is a compact SUV. I have to sit up very high in this car with that infant seat in that outboard position. In fact, let's check it out in the center. Now that the car seat's in the center, man, this thing is great as a driver's car, but there's some problems with that. See, they only put latch on both outboard positions in the back seat, so when you go to put a infant seat in the center, you end up having to use the 2 outside latches, which covers up the buckle for the regular seat belts. So you really end up having 2 options. Either put a car seat in the center and be comfortable, just don't use your outboard seats, or put it in one of the outboard seats and just don't use one of the front seats. In the CX-5, if you're gonna put a forward-facing car seat in either of the outboard seating positions, I think you'll have a great experience. My issue is trying to fit 3 across. See, the hip room only makes for about 18 inches per seating location, and even though the Dionos are only 17.5 inches each, it really doesn't give me enough space between the door and the car seat for things like side impact airbags or armrests and the other types of things that start interacting with your seat. So for the 3 across, not so great. Now, as you can see with the kids getting in, with the little guy, it was a bit of a step up and then down to get in. The rest of the kids were able to get in, no problem. It is tight. It's not a lot of space between the backs of the seats and the front of the second row. Now, here's where I was surprised that a rear facer actually fits very comfortably. In fact, check this out. I did want to show it really quick because there's something about the CX-5 that makes this seat fit great and comfortable in that rear facing position. So while it didn't fit very well with the infant seat, I'm actually very comfortable with a rear facer convertible. While compact, the CX-5 has a higher step up than most in its class. Then, once over the threshold, it dropped down almost 3 inches, creating an obstacle to entry. The seats are narrow, which hides the stable buckle under the booster from their sightline. Attaching takes a little practice, but this position was great after being secured. So the cargo area on the CX-5 is actually a lot larger than I was expecting based on the look and the actual size of the exterior dimensions. But as you can see, my stroller fits in. It doesn't fit straight in, but it fits between the two wheel wells, which honestly is great because in addition to that, there's about a week's worth of groceries in room in here, or maybe a nice weekend trip in addition to having a large jogger stroller. So there isn't really a whole lot underneath this cover here. In fact, it's just a spare tire, and in this model, it's an additional subwoofer, which does sound very good, especially when you listen to some heavy bass music like I occasionally do when I'm borrowing these cars. But aside from that, I wouldn't really consider it any additional space, maybe a spare set of clothes or, you know, a towel for those fun trips to the splash pad. Now there is another feature that I really like about the CX-5. It's optional, but it's this cover because it connects to the top of the gate rather than covering up this space. So you can actually sit back here. It also, of course, does the best thing, which is you can put your valuables, your bags, your purses back here when you're out on a hike or a walk, and you won't have to worry about somebody looking in and seeing what you have. If you like your compact SUVs to look unique and drive confidently, this will be a great vehicle to look at. The infant seat doesn't fit very well, but again, a rear-facing convertible seat fits with ease. I can confidently say this would be a great SUV for forward-facing car seats from convertibles to boosters. And the cargo area is spacious, which makes this Mazda ready for a road trip. Hey, thank you so much for checking out Fit the Fam today. If this was helpful at all, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe icon right over here. And if you're continuing to shop, over here is a vehicle that's comparable to the one we just reviewed. Again, thank you so much. I'm very fortunate to be able to make videos for you, our Fit the Fam family. Have a good one.